2016 Telstra Northern Territory Charity Award winner is HPA, helping people achieve.
You know what you got into. Can you handle what I'm about to do? 'Cause it's about to get rough for you. I'm here for your entertainment. Oh, I bet you thought I was off.
Ladies and gentlemen, go HPA, huh? Firstly, I'd like to congratulate all the nominees tonight in making this amazing category. And, thank you to Telstra for making charity and non-for-profits a category this year. For 24 years, this has never been a category. And I'll tell a quick story real quickly. We were actually nominated last year. We're really excited about it. And then we got a phone call 2 weeks later saying, oh, sorry, you haven't got a category. But it's okay. Nothing against Telstra. But here we are, so that's good. Thank you, Telstra. I'd just like to make a special mention of RDA. Leslie, who just came up here. Leslie, put down for a second, Leslie. Leslie over there, guys. Leslie runs RDA, Writing for Disabled. RDA, Writing Develops Ability, my apologies. And you do amazing things. And it was really, really proud when we found out that we were nominated to be in the finalists tonight and to be in a category with yourself. You do amazing things, so thank you for being in the category. And please keep up what you're doing, so thank you. I also wish to acknowledge a massive congratulations to Telstra again for what you've done tonight, for what you're putting on, and to actually appreciate what business does here in the Northern Territory. We're up here in the Northern Territory, and tonight, hearing the stories and what we're doing, I think there are some incredible businesses. So congratulations to all the nominees, and I think that the winners, and also for keep doing what you're doing. If you didn't get it this year, Smart Tab, Timmy, I love you, mate, and next year is going to be yours for sure. Also, I'd like to talk about a journey about HPA. I started this journey a couple of years ago, and I was working in the media and marketing background, and I got an opportunity to put my hand up to apply for the CEO role for this amazing organisation called HPA. Now, some of you know I was working in media and marketing, and I worked for the company a few years beforehand, and I was a sales manager for the company. And 3 months later, once I started my organisation, once I started the role, GFC hit and I got made redundant. So things happen for a reason, and I was about to go back down to the Sunshine Coast and climb the corporate ladder. But for whatever reason, I stayed in Northern Territory, and I worked with a company called Channel 9. And anyway, this opportunity came up, and I got the role with HPA, which, I just want to say right now, when I went in for the boardroom and there was 8 board members, I don't know if you've been into a situation where you had 8 board members interviewing you, it's pretty daunting. And I came out with goosebumps, and I really realized that this company and these people right here behind me, and Jira and everyone that plays a part in HPA helping people achieve, one of the most incrediblest people you ever meet. And if you've never had the experience, come down and see HPA, please come down and see us. We're in Albatross Street, or in Oz Designs in Yarrawonga. We do some amazing things. The last 12 months have been simply amazing. It's been incredible. We've been involved in some really great local projects. Impact Day, Northern Territory Disability Awards, October Business Month, the Beer Can Regatta, Henbury Luncheon, to name a few. And during this period, we launched a company brochure called, and our brochure as well. But when we started, the company was called HPA Disability Services. I don't actually like the word disability myself. And so in my first 2 weeks of actually starting as CEO, I changed the words to helping people achieve. And tonight hearing your story about Thank You Water and what you've done with your organisation and changing people's lives, I got a lot from that, and so did my fiancée Amy. And a credit to you, and thank you for being here tonight to inspire everyone here about anything is possible. And let's get a round of applause again for our Thank You Water, because it's true. anything's possible. If you have a dream, I started about changing the words, instead of disability services and focusing on a disability, we changed it to helping people achieve. And it's been and let's get a round of applause for that, actually. We've got 3 amazing locations. Oz Designs, which is down in Yarrawonga. If you ever get Indigenous products, we do printing, embroidery, confidential paper shredding. Down at Oz Design, at Kokoda, we do outdoor furniture. Any school teachers here tonight? Yep, over the back there. I expect to get some school furniture bought on Monday morning. Thank you. Seating. But HPA's continue to grow and excel, and I just want to say thank you so much for the federal government, the local government, to support an amazing organisation that we are. We've been going in business since 1963, and I stand up here very proud to say that we're going to be around for a lot longer, and we're only started. We're inspiring a lot of people. We've got an amazing website, and it's just a credit for the people right here behind me. We actually employ 68 people with a physical and intellectual disability. Now, I just want you to know right now, with all the business owners, let's get a round of applause for that right now. The fact of it is, the reality is, if it wasn't for HPA, unfortunately, 68 people wouldn't be employed. That's the reality of it, We're actually trying to change a lot, and so it's about inclusion and about opening up new opportunities and new passions. So I employ business owners out there, open your hearts and your minds about possibilities, because that's what Telstra Business Awards is all about. And there's people like Jaira. Jaira, come up here a second. Everyone, let's give a round of applause to Jaira. Now, Jaira and I, we actually were on the radio this morning with 104.1.
Yeah.
Not plugging anyone at all, but Jaira, this is your moment right now. So I want you to speak to this crowd and just do your magic.
I would like to say,
I didn't pay him at all, just so you know that, right?
I would like to say thank you, Tony and Trish, and my bosses. They helped me a lot. For 6 months ago, I was working Endeavour in the Bundaberg, and I came all the way to Darwin to meet Tony and Trishan and get me offered job, and did all the pallets, everything in Darwin, and that in Dakota Centre. And Tony is one of my favourite boss in the world, because he was helping me to make staff always learn. So every time, always, Trishan, he was my first boss. Well, my second favourite. Every time I always do the orders, Trishan always sends all the supervisors, and supervisors always give me orders, and I always finish them off. And Trish and I are always the great worker. And so Tony. Tony done really well. That's all I've got to say.
Let's hear it up for Joy, everyone. Wave to the crowd, wave to the crowd. So anyway, I just want to finish with, once again, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for the Telstra Business Awards for making this opportunity a moment. And I said to the guys tonight, whatever happens, happens. But to be here right now and to have this opportunity to promote our business is really special. As I said, all the nominees in the charity section. There's so many other nominees out there in the non-for-profit charity world that are not here tonight. So, I employ the business world. If you get a chance to get to know more the nominees and other charities out there, please support it, because it's the passion and the drive that these organisations and the people behind it make the difference in this organisation, especially up in the Northern Territory. So it's an amazing category. And I just want to leave one thought that hopefully it's a bit of a motivation speech that my father taught me. Your life won't be perfect, but it can be purposeful. Live for something bigger than yourself and leave a mark on the world. Once again, thank you very much and have a good night.